Sure, folks, welcome back to another video, and this time it's a Springboks versus Argentina review, and lots to unpack. The first Bok loss, obviously since the Ireland game, and first Bok loss of this rugby championship. At 1 point, we're on the other side of 1 point this time, and I can only imagine how England, France, and New Zealand felt at the World Cup, losing by 1 point at the World Cup, because this was a difficult feeling. Stayed up till 1:30 to watch the game, and it was a disappointing one. But lots to unpack, some key moments. We'll get into it. If you did like the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you found value in it, I would appreciate a subscribe. It helps me on my journey to become the #1 sports content creator in South Africa, and I'd love to have you along on the journey with me. Let's get into the video, let's unpack some things, and let's be kind. I think we all hurt, after a tough Bok loss. Last night I made a video asking you guys what your hot take is for the game, and I got plenty of responses. Of course, the popular opinion was to do with Manie Libbok. We're going to get into that at the end of the video because I really want to unpack that. But before we do that, I thought I'd have a sort of a debrief on what my preview said. I said Argentina are going to start strong. I didn't have them winning the game, but I had them potentially winning the first half, if given the history and how well they start in Argentina, and that sort of came true. We started very well that first 10 minutes. We were 14-0 up. Really, probably some of the best attack in rugby I've seen the Springboks play in a while. I thought Pollard looked really good at 10. Our hands were slick. We were going forward, and I think key to that is we're playing in the right areas and we had possession. Also, I said discipline is going to be where this game is going to be won and lost. In the first sort of 10 minutes, we're so well disciplined. Argentina weren't, so they were getting penalised. We're kicking downfield. We're playing rugby in the right areas and playing a really, really territory-based game. Every time we got into their half of the first 10 minutes, we scored. So we were looking really hot, and things seemed to be going our way with a lot of momentum. We started well. Argentina ill-disciplined, which is uncharacteristic actually of them in this rugby championship. But I thought we started well. It was really good to watch. And if you're back in the box in the first little bit, you were in the money. And then what was interesting was we were 14-0 up 10 minutes in, and we decided to take the 3. We get a penalty, and we decided to take 3, which for me was weird because we're in their half. Every time we enter their 22, we basically score. We're 14-0 up. We sort of past that stage of needing to build a lead. It was we're looking really dominant at that stage. Our maul was sort of working. Our set piece was good. First 10 minutes, we looked like we had them shell shocked, which is sort of where you want a team if you want to start well, especially given the fact that they generally start well, and this time we did. So for me, that was weird. Going for 3 when we're 14-0 up. I thought maybe go for the corner, maul them over, score again. If you don't kick it over, it's 19-0. To come back from 19-0 is a tough one. In the preview, I also spoke about our goal kicking, which we will get into. I thought actually Andre was decent with the boots at goal kicking, but they, that's sort of where it came down to at the end of it all. Manie to have that kick at the end, he misses it. We're going to get into in depth a little bit later, but that's an area where I targeted. We needed to be strong in our goal kicking, and I think possibly maybe a coaching area, not a coaching area, but maybe subs, but we'll get into that, as I say. And then, of course, chaps, Argentina are not a bad side. They're a really good side. They're second in the rugby championship for a reason. So for them to get off to such a bad start and then come back and then keep us out, as I say, the minute they get a sniff of the game, they get emotionally charged in front of a home crowd. It was always going to be a really tight match. I just didn't think, I thought after that start we had it, and I think possibly maybe that's where a little bit of inexperience came into the box. Maybe they did too, but let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments. The reality is that we're so disciplined in that first 10 minutes, it allowed for our fast start, and then we let them into the game with ill discipline. You can't concede penalties after penalties. I think we conceded 5 in that first half. You concede penalties, they kick for territory, and as I say, guys, I keep saying the minute that Argentina get a sniff, they get emotionally charged in front of a home crowd. It's a really, really dangerous beast. They're also a really good side. They're not second in the Rugby Championship for nothing. Speaking of ill discipline, if you look at Kurtley Orange's yellow card, I really believe that's where this game sort of turned. And I'm not saying it's Curtly Orance's fault, please. Under no circumstances does this have one person to blame. I just believe that when Curtly Orance got yellow carded, let me know what you guys think. Is that a yellow card or not? I don't know. It doesn't meet the threshold. In my opinion, I mean, like, as per the law book, yes, I think it does meet the threshold, but it's a whole different conversation on its own. That, like, you know, yellow card bunker, I feel like it was harsh. It does meet the threshold though, so we can go around in circles the whole time, but I guess sort of it meets the threshold, so it is a yellow card. I just think it was harsh. But the thing is, when Curtly Orance gets that yellow card, open up space in the backfield, and then they were really clever. They kicked really effectively. They kicked us into corners. They moved fussy around the park, so he couldn't get momentum. Thought we then struggled with a counter attack. Obviously, one less at the back. And yeah, what I really saw from Argentina is that they're just kicking us into corners, kicking really smart, and then of course, you know, they're kicking and then we made mistakes, which resulted in them to get territory and possession in the right areas of the field. Also, if you look at the Pablo Matera try when they went sort of around us, Kobus Reinach was at the back defending on the wing, so they threw that cutout pass, and I think maybe Kobus, because he's defending on the wing now, where Curtly should have been or would have been, I think he sort of bit a little bit too early, and which allowed them to get around us, or to have that drawn pass. You know, with a guy like Curtly who's a little bit more experienced in the defensive system, I think we probably would have cut them off there. He would have made the right read. I think Kobus maybe makes a wrong read there. They score and Pablo Matera goes in, and then it's 14-17, and all of a sudden they're in the game. And also, you know, there was a couple, I think defensively we were a bit shell-shocked. I think it might have had something to do with the new centre combo. Look on your arms really good at 13. But maybe at 12, I don't know, we struggled. I just felt like we struggled a little bit. I think they found a lot of joy in those inside passes, just little passes just before contact, where they had us. And I can't sort of put my finger to why that was the case, but that's what I saw. You know, at the advantage line, sort of just little pop passes, and yeah, they went through us like a hot knife through butter. And then of course, you know, I keep saying it, they get into the game and they're really, really dangerous. Another thing, and probably the big one that everyone replied to, was Manie Libbok's missed kick. Look, the reality is he kicks that, we win the game. That's the reality. If he kicked that over, we win the game, and that's simple maths. Did that lose us the game? No. I think Argentina were really good. He had the opportunity to win the game but not lose it for us. I thought actually when he came on in open play, he was pretty good. He missed that look, and then the other thing is he missed that touch, which hurt us, because I think that sort of killed momentum and gave them energy. So that wouldn't have helped, or it didn't help, and was probably one of the glaring areas I spoke about on my Instagram post. But yeah, I don't think, in my opinion, he didn't lose us the game. He had the opportunity to win it, but didn't lose it. If he kicks it over, we do win the game. In my opinion, I think maybe there was sort of a replacements error. I think a guy like, you know, what I'd suggest in the preview was that when Manie comes on, he comes on at 10, we shift Pollard to 12, we shift to 13, because that's where he's familiar, and we give Jesse Krill a break and a little bit of a reward for a break of all the hard work he's put in, or all the minutes he's played. It didn't happen. They brought Manie on, and the reality is, look, if Pollard's on, I believe Pollard kicks that 10 times out of 10 over. And that's the difficult thing, you know, because Manie, when Manie's on, is expected to kick that over because that's his job, and I get it. So I want to clarify this. I'm not saying Manie should be, he shouldn't get any criticism, because it's his job, and I understand that. You know, my Instagram video was just talking about, sort of thinking before you do criticize, because when you react emotionally, it's often the wrong reaction. He's also a human being, and I can imagine now he's sitting in the hotel gutted and seeing all these things, and probably even logged out of social media because of the abuse he's getting. So that was my point. My point was, yes, he's missed it. He's not lost us the game. He had the opportunity to win the game for us, but he didn't do it. Jaden Hendrickson does very well to win us that penalty as well, just by the way. Manie has the opportunity to win the game for us. He misses it, but he doesn't lose the game for us. So, and my point on Instagram was just to hold off on the abuse, because yes, of course he deserves criticism. It's his job and he didn't do it properly, and I get what you guys are saying, but unfortunately he missed it. And he didn't do it on purpose, but he didn't lose the game for us. He just had an opportunity to win it and didn't take the opportunity. I firmly believe that Pollard was on the field, he would have kicked that over and it would have been a different conversation. But yeah, it's the reality is Argentina beat us by 1 point, and it is probably a tough one for Bok fans to take, because it is a tough one for me to take, I must admit. But we go again in Nelspruit. It's going to be a real celebration in Nelspruit, I believe. I don't think they're going to beat us twice. Argentina did well to beat us in Argentina, but you're not going to come. I don't believe they're going to come to Nelspruit and beat us. A couple of things that maybe I want to see in Nelspruit that Eben Etzebeth needs to start. We needed an enforcer on that field, and when he came on, things changed quite dramatically. Maybe a Jordan Hendrickson should come into the mix, or given that Sash is injured. And yeah, we need to go back to our France Malabra needs to get back in the mix. Sir Khaleesi, we need our leadership back. But we'll get into that in the week with a predicted match day 23 video. If you liked it, leave a like, subscribe if you found value, and I'll see you on the next one. Remember, be kind.